Welcome, Inspector. This scenario is based on real particulate matter, PM2.5, air quality sensor data, collected at local theme parks. PM2.5 is a form of air pollution made of tiny particles that can enter the lungs and bloodstream. Safe levels are generally considered below 50. The posters in this office show both the long-term health effects and the EPA's Air Quality Index, AQI, ranges for reference. As part of the Public Air Safety Commission's approach, a fictional agency created for this training scenario, your inspection follows 3 steps. Measure, deploy detection technology to quantify pollution levels. Target, identify the sources and how the particles move through the environment. Remove, develop strategies to reduce or eliminate exposure. On your wrist is a PM2.5 sensor. Your task is to measure air pollution from several areas around the park, including the glycol-based fog and bubble machines, which can produce high concentrations of fine particles, and the concessions fire pit, where smoke can also elevate PM2.5 levels. Press the trigger or X button on your left controller to log each sensor reading, starting with a baseline of clean air, then checking each area as you explore. The sensor will alarm when PM2.5 reaches unhealthy levels. Your health meter in the top left tracks cumulative exposure, slowly recovering over time. The screen will tint red when exposure becomes hazardous to your long-term health. After all of the areas are documented, return to the office and upload your data to the Public Air Safety Commission scanner on the wall. If you need to start a fresh session, tap the red reset button.
Before completing this inspection, how would you have described the air quality at a crowded theme park or indoor school event that uses theatrical fog? Most people assume theatrical fog is harmless water vapor, but it often produces air pollution levels comparable to wildfire smoke. These invisible particles put both daily workers and visiting guests at risk.
Who do you think currently enforces air quality standards for theatrical fog used in public school events and theme parks? There is a regulatory gap. Theme parks, schools, and event venues are largely left to monitor themselves. Although many people assume a government agency oversees indoor air safety, no agency currently enforces health standards for fog pollution exposure. Your inspection is complete. You're welcome to explore the park further, restart with the red button, or exit the experience. Thank you for visiting.
Toxic theater fog at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas and SeaWorld. PM 2.5 is very small particulate matter, also known as air pollution. No one should breathe in PM 2.5, especially outside the green zone of the Air Quality Index, which goes from 0 to 50. Over the last 2 years, I had been getting very sick mysteriously, including trouble breathing and immune system overreaction to new allergies. Research shows air pollution is linked to increasing allergies and poor health. So I bought a sensor from a website. There's many air quality sensors that can be bought online. I would like to encourage everyone to hold the theme parks responsible for the air pollution they are blasting on guests and workers for long periods of time. Outside on the train ride that day, the PM 2.5 was only at 13. The air quality index was in the green. While sitting in the back of the Rockville Theater by a frequently opened door, the PM 2.5 was 158. That is very bad air. It would have been much higher if I'd have sat in the front. Zaragoza Theater is larger than Rockville, but surprisingly, the air pollution is worse and even reaches all the way into the lobby. The building never gets aired out with pure air, but no one should be breathing in the fog anyway, indoors or outdoors. Glycol-based fogs are not safe. They should have been banned decades ago. The air pollution from highway traffic doesn't even reach these levels of air pollution. After repeated visits to verify my sensor readings, I wrote letters and emails to the EPA, OSHA, and the Health Department, with pictures included. They all dismissed these concerns, even though these agencies are supposed to enforce that workers and the public are safe from environmental hazards. Six Flags did not stop blasting air pollution, even though OSHA believed they did and closed the complaint. After this OSHA response was sent and the complaint closed, I visited Six Flags again. The sensor showed even worse levels of PM 2.5 than before. The sensor maxed out at 999 PM 2.5. And after that visit, I became much sicker. My immune system has become dysregulated, among other issues, and that's a very difficult thing to treat. Research is starting to verify theater fog is very hazardous. PM 2.5 is already known to be hazardous to health. These black boxes are all around the park. They blast glycol-based theater fog on guests and workers, especially around Halloween, but fog is used year-round. Rockville and Zaragoza theaters are full of air pollution and are toxic even to walk into. Long-term health effects of chronic exposure to theatrical fog and haze include reduced lung function, cardiovascular diseases such as hypertension, heart attacks, and stroke, immune system dysregulation, increased infections, and increased cancer risk over time. And there's a website that has a research on those issues. The EPA lists harmful effects of PM 2.5, including premature death, non-fatal heart attacks, irregular heartbeat, aggravated asthma, decreased lung function, increased respiratory symptoms, and difficulty breathing. This chart and this information can be found on this website. And the ranges for the AQI values are also displayed. What is the general duty clause? So by definition, this means that employers must protect employees from any serious hazard once they're aware of it, whether OSHA's rules specifically address it or not. OSHA is neglecting their duties. Theater fog is hazardous air pollution. The public and most workers are unaware of the hidden danger of theater fog. Workers can submit complaints to OSHA, even anonymously, but don't wait until you get sick or worse. SeaWorld uses the same air-polluting theater fog, but Six Flags uses much more of it. Using theater fog indoors at the levels they use is very unhealthy for workers and guests. People do not expect to be blasted by air pollution going to family-friendly parks. People are getting sick and worse. Theater fog should not be used at all in air that people breathe. Thank you for listening, and please spread the message.